which means Jaylen Brown still on the sidelines. He tweeted some curious emojis.
Brown out here firing takes, bro.
Good tweeter.
Yeah.
He wrote some curious emojis on the perceived snub and explained more yesterday.
I called Derek right away, just to make sure there's no confusion, like my love for you, and all of that. I made sure like he knew that and he did. But you don't always got to make anything public. But me and D-Watt are good.
You tweeted at Nike. What was that about? Do you think they had any role in you being left off?
I do for sure. There'll be more stuff to come with that. But as of now, I'm not gonna comment on it.
Pretty good. Yeah. You surprised Derek White was picked over Jaylen? There's a lot to react to there.
I'm not surprised. I think it was a mistake. And look, we're still going to win the gold. But I'm just saying I think they should have had Jaylen instead of Derek White. I'm not surprised, though, because, and Grant Hill explained why. He said, look, Derek White's a role player with Boston. So he will be able to, it won't be any adjustment when he comes here and he's a role player, just shoot threes, just defend. Here's why I disagree with it. First of all, Kawhi Leonard wasn't a role player.
Right. That's
Kawhi wasn't going to do he wasn't going to do the dirty things that they want Derek White to do, okay? Secondly, Nick, Jaylen Brown was fully capable of doing those things. He may not quite be the defender Derek White is, but Jaylen is a very good defender and maybe could be better.
I think he could be
if he doesn't have to worry about scoring 25 points a night, he can be a great defender. And that's what guys do on a Team USA. You just take a role. Some of the guys do that, and I think he would do it. And three-point shooting, they got the same career three-point percentage. Now, maybe White right now is a little better, but Jaylen's a capable, obviously, three-point shooter. So they definitely should have had him on the team. I'm glad he called Derek, and as teammates, they squashed it. There's no issue. But Jaylen Brown got snubbed. There's no two ways about it.
There is an argument to be made. I think you have made it. That the proper construction of Team USA is like 7 stars, 3 dirty work role player types, and then 2 Bazemores. Like, you know what I mean? Guys that are just bench mob, good vibes, But that's not the archetype this basketball team went for. They just went superstars across the board. So you can't then have one of them injured and be like, actually, the best replacement is a role player, because that's not the way they were going. And so, I think it's kind of ludicrous. I don't know enough about the inner workings of Nike and shoe company politics to know whether or not that's real. I do want to say this, though. Because people think I don't like Jaylen Brown because years ago I mocked Danny Ainge, the extension he gave him, because I was wrong about how good Jaylen Brown was going to be, and I consistently pick against the Celtics. I've got just about more respect for how Jaylen Brown carries himself than almost anybody in the league. Right. He seems fearless. Yeah. He seems like a man that is going to stand on what he believes in, fully confident in who he is, and feeling like, at this point, I'm not saying I'm untouchable, but I'm saying I'm the finals MVP and I have the biggest contract in league history. So what are you going to do? I'm going to just be honest. I think that's dope. I think everything he's done as far as like who he is outside of just being an awesome basketball player is super cool. And
look, he's been critical of Nike in the past, and I don't think they wanted that on the international stage.
Yeah, but how much? Nike's got that much sway?
I'm just saying, I'm sure they
come back to the show. Kawhi out of the Olympics. He played 68 games in the league last year, his most in 7 years, so that was good. But he only played 2 playoff games for bruised Clippers before shutting it down. So adding him to the Olympic roster seemed odd to begin with. Yeah. Here's Clippers executive Lawrence Frank's take.
It was USAB's call, and I was, quite frankly, very disappointed with the decision. Kawhi wanted to play. We wanted him to play. I was there the first 2 practices. He looked very good. Was a full participant in everything that they did. I wasn't there for the 3rd practice, where ultimately that was the point where they decided to go in a different direction. I expressed to them I really wish that they would have given Kawhi more time.
Your reaction, bro?
Well, it's important for people to know. The rule with USA basketball is an NBA team cannot keep a player from playing. So the Clippers could not come out and say, we don't want Kawhi playing, and then they take him off the team. You can't. So technically, he has to say it's Team USA's decision. All right. Outside of that, I'm calling hogwash on what Lawrence Frank said.
Oh, wow.
I think what this is appeasing your superstar player.
Yes.
And saying what Kawhi wanted to play. So Lawrence Frank isn't going to come out and speak against that. So he's just backing it up. But here's why I'm calling hogwash. If you're a Clipper player, a Clipper fan, a Clipper executive, coach, whatever, why in the world would you want Kawhi Leonard playing?
Patriotism?
No, I don't know. He can't get through a regular season and play in the playoffs. He played 4 of 11 playoff games the last 2 years. So we think it's clearly wear and tear. There's like a limit to how many games he can really play in a calendar year. So I'm supposed to believe after he can't get through 60 games, 70 games in a regular season, and a first round of a playoffs, that he's supposed to play in the Olympics, the regular season, and then the playoffs?
The Clippers
Please.
this year probably don't have to worry about the playoffs.
They still got James Harden, big game James, and Kawhi. I'm just saying, if I'm Clippers, no, I don't want him playing. But I don't necessarily need to come out and say it because Kawhi wants to play. So that's what
I feel like the follow-up question to Lawrence Frank would be like, who made the call? Like Grant Hill's kicking him off the team? Steve Kerr's kick? Like, who's making the call here? Just USA Basketball as a figurehead? Yeah. I agree with Brew.
I literally wrote down the Clippers should be thrilled that this isn't happening. I also have never seen a team, an organization, more enraptured by a player who hasn't done anything for them than the Clippers seem to be with Kawhi.
Yeah.
Like, people can say, oh, LeBron runs the Lakers. He may or may not. But the second year there, delivered them a championship. You know what I mean? And he's LeBron James. And so I'm not acting like there aren't a lot of examples of players having outsized juice on an organization. But usually, that's a legend with that organization, or a player who has the chance, I might leave the organization, or a player who has delivered championship or championships for an organization. Kawhi Leonard, and I don't really blame him for this, but the reality is, his Clippers tenure has been a massive disappointment. Now, that's mostly because his body is broken down, and I don't hold that against him. But it is just amazing to me that the Clippers, the moment they got Harden, prioritized getting Kawhi signed, not Paul George. That the Clippers were seemingly fine with him playing in the Olympics, and now, if Brew's correct, to appease his ego, his hurt feelings, are saying, we think USA Basketball made the wrong call. And if Brew's not right, I think Brew is right. They're just saying Kawhi should have been allowed to play anyway. Right. I think from Jump Street, his inclusion was a mistake. I think that there was, I know we're about to talk about Jaylen Brown here in a moment as far as replacing Kawhi. I think there's a very strong argument to be made that Jaylen Brown should have had that spot to begin with.
Yeah.
That he's a more useful player at this point than Kawhi, given the lack of reliability. So
they made a huge mistake in giving Kawhi that deal. 3 years, $152 million, whatever it is. They should have given that probably to Paul George. Or you could have been in position to basically start all over. And rebuild, because it was just, I can't believe, good for Kawhi, and his representation did a wonderful job, but why in the world, if you're the Clippers, would you give him that deal?
But this is a guy who you should have saved what turned into a fraudulent line when it came to Jimmy Garoppolo, but is true when it comes to Kawhi Leonard. His body betrayed him. You know what I mean? And so for Kawhi, look at him.
2 guys can have their body betrayed. I mean, really. Jimmy G's hurt all the time. That was his biggest problem.
Kawhi's replacement, Derek White.